Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Night Fox 15. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and we are about to go over the grand finals of Anti-Phase number 4, where yours truly brought Dragunities to the top 2 to only get spanked by WitchCrafters. You'll get my insight and my thought process in this grand finals going in. This was the deck that I used, and this is the side deck I used. Let's jump into it. Alright, the Foxy Top 2 is what Circus decided to call it because, I guess in honor of me, since I've never made Top 2. We open up terrible. This was game 1. I don't think I've ever bricked so bad the whole tournament. And even when bricking so bad, I don't think I've ever done so poorly to be able to recover, because usually when I draw another card, maybe I can recover, but no, this was bad. Especially since he ripped into Galaxy Cyclone, which got rid of my only stall card that could have kept me alive to maybe keep going to find some traction into this. So he gets rid of my Floodgate, gets his Veer out, and pretty much is going to sit and sail smoothly. I drew into another Koos, so I set the Koos and I end my turn. So both set cards right now that I have are Koos and Lance, I believe. Those are my only set cards. He's going to go into his battle phase. He's going to go ahead and take out one of our Kooses. Here I went ahead and I set a card. I believe it was my other Floodgate, or it was Cosmic. No, it wasn't Cosmic. I think it was my other Floodgate. He's going to activate his Schmitty effect. Pure is going to do her work. Charge the Light Brigade, only going to help him mill even more. Uses Show of Nightmares. So it was, I remember correctly, my middle was a Floodgate and the other one was a Forbidden Lance in my back, well, currently back left. But my only set spell right now I think is pretty sure it's Forbidden Lance. So here I decided on whether or not I want to activate my Forbidden Lance, because by activating Forbidden Lance I reduce her to even with me, which would keep my Koos alive. And if I ripped into a Senatus or Dox, I wouldn't have to worry about activating the effect. I could just go ahead and synchro. So I was pondering that, but it didn't matter. I ended up passing, and he ended up boosting his monster anyway. So if I activated my Forbidden Lance, it would have just been a waste. She would have just boosted her enough to get over it without the with the handicap of Lance anyway. Alright, our turn. A lot hinges on our draws, and they were terrible. There wasn't really any traction I could get this game 1, so it was pretty rough. Both game 1 and game 2 are pretty long. My hand was trash. It's Senatus and Divine Lance, Dragunity Divine Lance. So I was debating on what I wanted to do here, because either way he was going to negate my level 8 or negate my Senatus. So I just went the Senatus route. Try and bait the back row, go ahead and hit a Dragunity Divine Lance. Hits with the Offerings of the Doomed. And as I mentioned before, Forbidden Lance was my back row. So we're going to get saved here, and we're going to try and make some safe out of it. Alright, so we save Senatus, but it really doesn't matter, because if I go into Barcha, he's just going to negate Barcha, so I can't get Koos from my grave. If I go into Gate Bulge, I have an opportunity to fight him off, because I can boost him. We're going to synchro for Gate Bulge. That's the one I decided to go with, because in the battle phase he can't negate effects. He can only negate effects in the standby phase. He cannot negate effects in the battle phase. Actually, wait, yes he can. But he decides to switch out anyways. He's going to switch for tag out for Schmitty, I think. I decided to go ahead and pass because I did not want to swing in, die, and then have an open field. So I figured it'd be better for me to play a little bit passive here. Looks like he's going all in, and indeed he does. He's going to use the spell that lets him attack twice and prevent me from activating spells and traps effects, but not prevent me from activating monster effects. Boost up to 38. He's going to end up using Madame Veer's effect to boost himself up. If he has 3, it's over. He has 1, 2. That's it. It's dead draw. It's going to hit me for 1,000. It's going to give him Holiday back to the hand. So now we know he can boost up to at least 4K. I'm going to scoop it up, move to game number 2. We're on the bottom this time, and we are going first, which is a good sign for us because going first allows us... Oh, wait, no, we're going second. I lied. I was going to say, if we went first, we could have made Gay Bulge, but sadly, no. He opens up with a sick, absolutely disgusting Grasslet Screener. Mills one of every single spell card for Witchcrafters, so all he needs is to summon one Witchcrafter, and he has all of them back to his hand. It's going to activate Schmiede's effect from the graveyard to banish one more Witchcrafter. Again, I wish we went first. You're gonna see why. Ends his turn, gets all his cards. Oh wait, never mind, he hasn't ended his turn yet. About to end his turn. Sets one and sets a background. Now he ends his turn, he gets one back. Collaboration. Basically, every card in our hand is about to get burnt. Alright, we're starting our plays off here. I'm gonna go with the lovely Koos to summon because I have Mistletoe, which I'm going to special summon over the Koos. Activate Mistletoe's effect. I'm anticipating this getting negated by the Vera, which he indeed does do. Bring him down to 2 cards in the hand. Downside is he also milled his trap, so we got to play kind of around that. Not really, can't really do much about it. Good thing I drew Dragunity Divine Lance. We're going to go ahead and equip Divine Lance to the Mistletoe. And here comes the Econ. Doesn't matter, we have Forbidden Lance, boys. Econ is irrelevant. Gonna get our Koos with our search. Activate Koos effect. Turn these 2 into a Ascalon. Alright, we make our Ascalon. The recovery has been made. Unfortunately, I sadly did not have lethal. So at this point everybody is like, wait a minute, why didn't you go into Barcha first and then into Ascalon? You cannot make Barcha with Mistletoe. Mistletoe plus Koos can only make Ascalon. Mistletoe and Koos cannot make Barcha. Doesn't make Barcha either, because Barcha requires a winged beast and a Dragunity tutor. So Mistletoe is a dragon, not a winged beast. So unfortunately he cannot make Barcha. If we had a Mistletoe that was exactly the same, but it was a winged beast and not a dragon, I could have gone into Barcha. Barcha could have grabbed me 2 Kooses from the grave, and I would have been at least able to do some damage. So because of his sick mill, we're still down advantage-wise, because he milled so good. So he's just going to replenish his entire hand. Now here's the downside, is that I am low on... okay. This play here could have gone one of 2 ways. So I'm just going to pause it so I can talk about it. Alright, I summoned my ducks, got my Koos. So I summoned ducks, I got my Koos. Actually, there's a big pause, so I guess I can just keep playing. Summoned ducks, got Koos. The option here was I could force with Ascalon to have him go into Madame Vera, which is what I was wanting to do, because I was expecting him to cycle in Madame Vera and then negate. But the downside is I am now out of resources, so I only had 1 banish. And that banish was Koos. And I needed it to negate at this point for it to work. But instead, he doesn't even go into Vera. He went into Schmiede, which didn't even cross my mind. I thought he would skip right to Madame Vera, but no, he went into Schmitty. So at this point, I had to go into either an 8, but it didn't matter because he was just going to summon Vera at that point. So maybe if I'd went into Koos off the bat, he would have cycled in. The downside is that even if I went into Koos, like instead of banishing with Ascalon, I decided to go right into Koos to summon as a monster, he would have skipped the Schmitty step. He would have gone right into the Madame Veer step. Because you don't have to go Schmitty Veer. You can just jump right to Veer. So he chose to do Schmitty because he knew it's essentially how to counter me because I ran out of materials in the grave. So I was kind of hosed. So he basically played perfectly around me, and there was nothing I really could do because if I did go Koos into the field right off the bat, instead of banishing first, I would have ended up in a situation where he went right into Schmitty right into Veer instead of Schmitty. So I was hosed either way. There was no way I could have won that. So unfortunately, I'm going to go into Barcha. Barcha's going to get negated. So I'm done. Like that was my death sentence right there. He has one card left. I can swing into it, but it's not going to be enough for me to kill him because he's going to go up bigger than I am. Ends up having a Galaxy Cyclone, so he's going to take away my only Floodgate that I set last turn, so I couldn't even use it against the Veer that he cycled in because it was the same turn I set it. So right now Circus is looking at his graveyard, but he didn't bother to look at my graveyard to see how many banishes I would have even had, and that's probably why they were all wondering why, what was going on. Why did you not go sooner? Well, that was why, because I only had one banish, and at this point I didn't want to waste my Koos because I have one Koos left in the grave. So if I wanted to make a recovery here, like Rip into a Mistletoe, for instance, if I had banished my second Koos, like I can get rid of the ducks, but if I banish my second Koos, I'm hosed. So the card I ripped into here is I believe a Senatus, which Senatus by himself does not help me. I need another Dragunity in the hand, and I could go into grabbing another Koos. So he's going to negate me here, and this right here was the deciding factor of whether or not I would go on live another turn or die. And sadly, I chose to leave Barcha in attack position because his defense is super low, 1200. And I just kind of wanted to have another monster on the field for pressure. And unfortunately, I only had lost 500 life points at this point. So by losing 500 life points, I couldn't even use Switcheroo. If I'd swung into the Madame Vera with my Ascalon, he would have just discarded 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Would have given me enough life point lost for the Switcheroo next turn. But at that point, this play was already set in stone. He was going to do this play regardless, and all it would have done is he would have had one less spell card to work with. But it still would have gotten him essentially lethal, more or less. So the argument there could have been like, yeah, he should have swung, forced one out, but he replenishes his hand anyway. So look at that. He's already up to 4 cards, 3 of which are most likely spells. So the collaboration is basically the nail in the coffin here. If Bulge was in defense, collaboration wouldn't have done as much damage. So here you can see I only had one Koos, so I only had 1 bullet left. And I didn't want to banish my Koos because then I can't make any more synchros. So he's going to reveal 2. And go to 4. And then do a boatload of damage, 2700 right off the bat, leaving me with 800 life points. Ascalon's ability is going to activate. I am going to get to summon somebody. Synchro summon from my extra deck, which I go into Gay Bulge, because I saw the offerings to the Doomed in his hand. So the writing was on the wall. As soon as he revealed offering to the Doomed, that was it. There was no recovery, nothing I could do. So unfortunately, my top 2 and the anti-phase number 4 ends with a just obliterating defeat at the hands of WitchCrafters, which is funny because in top 32, I actually 2-0'd a Witchcraft player, and it felt good. But I ended up going into my side deck, and I was able to get Chalice, so I was able to stop him with Chalice. This game, I didn't draw Chalice, and when I did have my combo, he was able to come back. You know, we kind of had a little back and forth there early, but it was just he always had the card advantage, and I just couldn't recover. All right, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to go over my Swiss matches with you. This was a 2-1 against Christron, so I sided in Chalice, which helped out. This one here was against Shuranui. I beat them. And this here was my only loss in Swiss, and that was the Blue Eyes player, who I later came back and beat, top 16. This here was the WitchCrafter player that I 2-0'd, and this here was a Cyber Dragon player. This was my top 32 match. It was against Shuranui. 2-1 them. Blue Eyes, 2-0'd them. This here was Cyber Dragons again, the same guy I beat in Swiss. And this here was the Neos Invoked that I beat in top 4. And then finally losing to WitchCrafters in top 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, if you liked what you saw, please click the little heart button. If not, no big deal. As always, I was NightFox15. This was Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, where you witnessed my anti-phase number 4 top 2 matches. And hopefully you were entertained. As always, thank you for watching. Hope to see you guys next time, and deuces!